Okay, so I'm seeing this, so I'm just gonna say, I feel like, especially for those of you who are like women, okay, or the feminine energy, so you could be Aries women, you might be, you might be into more of like dancing, drinking, socializing, wanting to go to holiday parties and things like that, okay? Like wanting to be that life of the party. And you have somebody coming in, okay, a more masculine energy, somebody who's very sweet, somebody coming in, and they go to these events with you, like once or twice, and they're not the life of the party. They refrain from drinking, and you're just like, oh, that person's kind of boring. And then if you really give them a chance, I feel like they're going to take you out of your comfort zone into some hobbies, some things that they're really good at. So for example, um, I do see some women, Aries women wearing high heels, okay? Like red pumps, high heels, like really, really high, like stilettos. And then I see like this man coming in and he's all like, why don't you, hang out with me Saturday? It'll be a surprise. And he takes you fishing. Okay. So you're like thinking that you're going to go somewhere and he takes you fishing. And you're like, you're trekking around, possibly in the mud in your high heels. And then, he takes you fishing and you have an amazing time. Okay. So I feel like you should definitely give this person a chance. Okay. So that's what I'm seeing here. And the image came out very vividly when I was looking at this Eight of Swords, where somebody is communicating with you and then you're not responding to half of their messages because you're just not that into them. And then if that's the case, give them a chance. You're going to have a really good time, like a screaming good time. And you're going to look at them in a new light. Okay, so I do feel something here that has a lot of potential. Just give it a chance, okay? Because there's more than meets the eye. There's a lot more facets to this person. There's a lot more things to be uncovered, okay? And so that's what I'm seeing here. For those who are like in a relationship, who are a couple, I do feel there's this I see this watch on a wrist, okay, and then somebody's like pointing at the watch like, when's the time? When's the time? So I do see this whole concept of like, when are we getting married? When are we getting engaged? When are we moving in together? When am I going to meet your parents? So Aries, you guys like to do things in a very straightforward and very, very linear manner. Okay, you guys are like the most straightforward people in the entire zodiac. You don't have time for nonsense. You don't have time for like contemplation. You don't like it when people are indirect, okay? When people drag their feet, when people take their time, I get it. You don't like to have to wait. And you want to just, find the shortest route from A to B. And I do feel like you're dealing with someone who's very methodical, who likes to, really take their sweet time, and it's aggravating for you. So I do see a relationship here where it's like, like a 3-year, a 5-year engagement. And it's like, when are we tying the knot? When am I going to be able to be a bride or a groom? Okay. Like, what are you waiting for? Shouldn't you want me? Shouldn't you want to progress with this? So like, I'm seeing that energy here where there's a little bit of frustration, from your end about somebody who's dragging their feet. I also see, an element, sorry, I'm moving in the chair, okay? So it's making funny noises. An element about somebody getting impatient, about somebody wanting to take things to the next level, wanting to, I'm seeing like somebody wants to take a trip, somebody, possibly you, Page of Wands, your energy, fire energy, somebody wanting to take a trip. And then the other person is all like, let me think about it. My work might not, I don't know if my work is going to be able to let me take the time off. Okay. So this is the Four of Pentacles, somebody clinging on very tightly to their resources. Okay. Somebody who's like very workaholic, and they're just like, I don't know if, I've accrued enough vacation days. I don't know if my job is going to be able to allow me to take time off during that season that you want to go on this trip. I don't know if my financial resources will allow me to spend that much money in on this trip. They have the money. They just have a lot of things, a lot of hangups about work ethics. They think that like being a good worker means you don't ever take vacation. You don't ever call in sick, even if you're like on your deathbed, you know. And so you're dealing with someone who has a little bit of a distorted sense when it comes to responsibility. In their defense, I feel like, work, jobs, and just jobs have not been easy to come by for this person. So they might be in a job where, they finally feel like they've made it and they don't want to do anything to screw up their prospects in this job. So they're trying to do everything by the book. They're trying to be a team player. They're trying to, I want to say as well, they're trying to project themselves as like the model employee because they've never had a lot of opportunity. They haven't had a lot of opportunities in the past. And so you're itching to want to travel, to want to, spend your pentacles and to have this amazing experience. And they're always busy. I don't feel they're making excuses. I feel like work is like their number one priority because, they're really trying to be good in the work that they do. And so you might be dealing with that in a partner and you're getting a little bit frustrated. Okay. I feel that this is not somebody who's very spontaneous, or at least their job is not flexible enough for them to, take off a week, within like a week's notice. So this is something that you have to plan with this person, give them a month and tell them, I want to go on this date a month from now. Ask your boss now, ask your supervisor now, and let me know, and then we can plan things moving forward. So I do sense that you have to give them more of a heads up. You can't be, on a whim. You can't do things impulsively and then expect this person to be able to accommodate based on their work schedule. So it's not that they don't want to. They really, really want to. They want to communicate. They want to take that trip with you. They want to share that new experience with you. But there are some things that are tying them up. Okay, I feel like literally being tied up. I also feel like this person is, for those in a serious relationship, I do see an element of a proposal or escalation of the relationship. Okay, so like taking things to the next level, that's coming into the picture. But this person is trying to build that up for you. They're trying to build up their financial resources. So for example, if you're planning to move in, they're thinking about, maybe saving up, like working a lot of overtime, working a lot, save up and they're in the meantime, they're making a lot of sacrifices to be thrifty, to save up a lot of money so that they can buy a property and before you move in with them. Or, saving up for that engagement ring before they asked you. Saving up and have a really, really good time on the trip to be able to afford everything that they want to do, all the activities on this trip because they might not be able to take a lot of vacations. So they want this trip to be perfect. They want it to be extravagant. They want it to be like, to not have to worry about finances when they're on the trip, to be able to afford everything that they want to do and everything that you want to do. And so you have to be a little bit more understanding about this person's financial state. I also feel a situation where somebody really wants to take care of you. Okay. You could be male or female. Your partner really wants to take care of you. Your partner really wants to have everything foundationally stable in their financial sector in order to be able to take care of you. And so that's why they're dragging their feet. And that's why they're, you might feel like they're not very fun, not very spontaneous, not very willing to do things. You might feel like they're a little bit of a homebody. And those things might be true, but I also feel a big part of it is that they're trying to appear very, very serious. and they feel that, they need to reach a certain milestone or a certain summit in their own financial or professional life before they can breathe. Okay, it's sort of like coming out of the dense fog, hiking up the trail, and then as soon as you reach the top, the sky clears up. You're at a point where your skies have cleared up and they're not there yet. So just imagine before you reached that summit what life felt like, how heavy things felt, how cold and damp and uncomfortable it was for you. And this is where that other person is. And so they're not in a position where they can be spontaneous, where they can throw caution to the wind, where they can, give like a 2 weeks notice and go on a long, extensive vacation. So everything has to be lined up. All their ducks have to be lined up. All their pentacles have to be stacked up. I'm seeing like poker chips, Some of you might be very good at poker. All the poker chips have to be, put in piles, sorted out based on their value before this person can make a major turning point in their life. Okay. And so I just want you to be a little bit patient with this person if you're dealing with them. If you're dealing with, that really sweet person that's giving you a lot of, is giving you a lot of communication, and you're just like, they seem a little bit bland or vanilla, give up a chance. You're going to be pleasantly surprised. If you're dealing with this person who you feel is like stick in the mud, not very spontaneous, and you're getting frustrated, give it some time as well, because I feel like they're really going to amaze you. Okay. They're thinking about, for the long haul. Okay, so I do see they're very serious minded. This person's really fun over here. This person's very serious minded. And not that they're down in the dumps and not fun. I just feel like, when they feel financially stable, they can be really fun. They can be very generous. And they can give you everything that you want. And funnily enough, you're in a position where you don't need anybody to take care of you. I feel like finances is going swimmingly well for many of you, Aries. If anything, you even want to, take this person on a trip. You even might want to pay for this person because you might not be aware of how wobbly their financial situation is. It's not that they don't have the financial resources. It's just in their mind, they want a lot more. And so you might even be in a position where you're just like, I have all this money, I can even pay for you. I can even pay for your trip. And so you don't see what the big deal is. But I feel like this person is not somebody that wants to leech or mooch off other people because they're responsible. And they wouldn't feel right to not be able to give you. So that's where they're at. So be patient, okay? I do see proposal and things like that coming into the picture. We have here the Queen of Pentacles. This is like wedding day. This is like being offered a very, very major commitment. Okay, so for many of you, the relationship is definitely escalating to the next level. The relationship is being stabilized and solidified. Okay, so I do sense there's going to be that sense coming into the picture for many of you in the month of December. And I also feel that somebody really sees you as marriage material, okay? You can be male or female watching this. They want to take the relationship to the next level. They are probably very aware that you have a lot of suitors and you have a lot of options, that you're, pretty much the life of the party, and that a lot of people aren't interested in you. But I feel like they're not wanting you to be the one that got away, and so they're planning and scheming and trying to get everything sorted out in their own life before they take before they take things to the next level. Okay. The last two cards that I have here, I have the Fool, turning over a new leaf, starting on a blank brand new chapter in your life. And we have the Six of Pentacles, and the Six of Pentacles is all about reciprocating. Okay. This is a card about generosity and kindness, and I do sense, in the traditional Rider-Waite deck is the man giving money to the poor, right? Um, what I mentioned earlier was that I did see this person wants to give you everything. You don't need them to give you everything. You need very specific things from them. You want them to travel with you. You want to share experiences together. But for some reason, every time you propose something, this person, it's like you reach some type of resistance and you don't understand like where it's coming from. It's not that they don't feel strongly for you. They want to be able to fund this trip, to fund this endeavor, so that you don't have to, pay for anything. But you're in a position where you can take care of yourself financially. You don't need them to pay for you. So I feel like there's a little bit of a disconnect when it comes to communication between you and this person. And honestly, as fire signs, we tend to gloss over a lot of the logistics. We tend to, I want to say, like, it's hard for us to put ourselves in somebody else's shoes and to understand what they're struggling with. And I do sense that there needs to be more communication, okay? And with the Six of Pentacles, that's what it means. It means being able to sympathize and empathize and put yourself in the other person's shoes. Why are they, hesitant? Why aren't they spontaneous? Why aren't they willing to take this extravagant trip with me? We're going to have so much fun. Well, the point is, it is an extravagant endeavor. And so they need to get things lined up. So I feel like that's the message they want to tell you. And so knowing that you're reaching resistance with this person, not because they don't feel for you, but because things are wobbly in their life. What can you do to make things less wobbly in their life? What can you offer? What can you give back? What can you propose to this person so that things are not wobbly? So I do feel it is about giving to this person, maybe financially. Maybe if this is something that you really want to do, and just ask them, I'll pay for it. Okay? Like, be in that space where you can, I guess, anticipate what this person is struggling with so that you can kind of like smooth away their worries. Does that make sense? Because I feel like that's going to propel your relationship to the next level, because this person is not able to voice that, or they might feel like, so for example, I feel like, there might be stereotypical like gender roles. Okay. So it's somebody who's like, oh, I wear the pants in this relationship. I should pay for everything. Something like that. And so they don't want you to have to pay. But I feel that things need to be balanced out here, because a lot of weight and a lot of pressure is on this person.